that is a fair thing to say. They do have the ping disadvantage theoretically. It's one they're going to have to face all season long. They're going to have to come to peace with it and address it. Secondly, CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming are playing from Japan. They are potentially having similar things at play, but also the other side of that is Blank historically are a team that have been able to perform well in spite of high ping, way back when they were Fusion Girls.
And I think Blank are a pretty clutch team as well. There's some very veteran players. So Trill, for one, is so veteran. And now into this first attack, Blank on the red team, CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming defending first. Eyes on Huss to see what he can do.
Ha! Die.
And, well,
that's what.
That's unfortunate. He should get res though because he died some distance away.
Ideally, but I think they may actually just end up waiting for the spawn here. I don't think they want to risk Kura's life there. We didn't quite get to see where Huss got shot, so could have just been in a slightly too dangerous to res kind of place. And now I catch onto Tongue as well.
We're in the cycle of someone's constantly dead. And that's not where you want to be for Blank. Trill, and maybe the next one.
Uru as well. Huss again getting shot in the face. And I mean, Kura can't be everywhere at once. They're having a really hard time just keeping everyone alive, just in all the damage, all the pressure that CAG are able to spew out here. Yeah, Tongue now. Look at how far forward Depp is playing here. This is the confidence of CAG.
That was smart, right? Because Blank was stuck in that right side room and CAG are going to be, we're going to lock you out of here. In fact, we're going to make sure you can't get yourself back to spawn, cut you off. And nearly a minute 30 is already off the clock. Blank have not even seen point A yet. They don't even know what it looks like.
They're not even sure if it's there.
This is
mythical right now.
And I've talked about Widowmaker advantages here, but look at Depp, 100% on the charge. Huss at 55, he's got a lot of catch up to do. It says how much damage that Depp is actually doing right now. And for Blank, find an opening. They got to get that.
Finally, they're able to actually get this rotation that they've been looking for, but you see here, they've had to do it without Trill and Huss. And in the meantime, Depp was able to pop Infrasites. That's just wasted more of Blank's time. Kenma Horo,
by the way,
dove on. Not quite going to go down yet. Taya is available. Amakin going to pop it out now. Samurai to get CKM.
And 99%.
Doesn't even need to find anyone necessarily with this Taya. Still will anyway. They've got the numerical advantage. Blank are just making no headway whatsoever.
So the good news is the headway they are making is in the economical department here after they get wiped inevitably by Depp here, who's about to get himself halfway to that next Infrasite. The Blank have been saving up some ultimates here. Tongue and Kura very close to it. CKM actually died at 99% against Samurai, so they will have tools to use. CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming did lose a lot of players. The only thing they're going to do is wait for Huwu, remake him, and then make their push happen because there are not as many ults on the CAG side.
That being said, yeah, I mean, that being said, it doesn't matter how many ultimates you do or don't have if you're able to just consistently headshot these people out. And that's what Def has done so far. But now Huss has the Infrasight out. Blank should be able to get some kind of setup play going in here. They've got him with the dive, but they're going to trade Huwu's mech, but he's going to self-destruct out up on that high ground, getting it shielded away. Trill died,
did an ult!
Yeah, before he got the Primal Rage out. Blank, though, they are making a bit more headway. They've at least forced CAG back. This gives them some space to play with, and Trill will respawn and rejoin the team. The rest of Blank haven't died. This is progress.
They need a little bit more of their space, so they need to touch the point. They need objective pressure. They need to force CAG to play around them and not the other way around. So far, CAG have been projecting and basically anticipating where Blank is going to go. CKM already low.
Yeah, there it is again. This time, though, he's had Kura in the pocket, but not the case anymore, as Kura's been cut off from the neck behind him. Blank now going to have to go all in on this one. They have no more chances. Transcendence and Dragon Blade in, trying to cut away at the tanks, but not getting anything. Finally dropping Savagon. Amakin gets rezzed, but it's just trades. Finally popping depth, though, as Trill able to get into the thick of the fight, is doing some work. Huss at last has sightlines in his favor, and off the back of it, Blank have managed to get themselves established on this point.
But man, that was such a scare for Blank Esports into the overtime as well. Not expecting CAG to come back in here, just trying to see the silhouettes behind the point. Blank will be quite happy to know that they will have the opportunity to attack onto B now. 4 minutes, it's not a lot. We've already seen the last match between EXL and New Paradigm. Losing time onto A is a death sentence for how you approach B.
All right. Just going for a
actually, you know what?
Slow and steady.
I like this.
Yeah.
Because Blank are going to go for the Hail Mary
detected.
one push play. If they can get the EMP, they win off that, they can cap on through in one play. That's how they could win this.
I'm liking this just in general as well. This is very powerful, theoretically, against what CAG are running. If they can, I mean, EMP notwithstanding, if they can get Trill and CKM up into the thick of it close enough.
In the lane.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough. Interesting as well that they've swapped one of the tanks over to the Brigitte. Samurai going down, but they trade Kura for it. That really cuts their healing in half because Samurai can just get rezzed here for free. CKM needs to be able to get into the thick of this, do the damage. They can't combo it with a Discord Orb either, so CKM has a much harder time getting through these health bars, but no, not going to happen on this push. Not quite going to get the third either. Cyclops Athlete just getting a few too many kills here, now starting to overwhelm with numbers.
Now the silver lining here in Blank's defense as well, this was a work in progress push. This was a push that perhaps they were expected to lose. Maybe they get a little bit of progress, but eventually they do lose. Cyclops Athlete Gaming have the ult advantage here, but what Blank have is that despite losing that fight, they've built up an EMP now, and now they can go for that one. 2 minutes 25, that might take them the whole 2 minutes and 25 based on what we've seen on Anubis just to get the cap, but if the EMP lands, you could just win this. CAG 5 ults might not be able to use any.
Always a possibility. They kind of want their Death Blossom, ideally. Depp could just, yeah, I was going to say, could
no res
stop it before it starts, and exactly no res because Team Comp Samurai sees the opportunity to catch Trill. And this gives Cyclops Athlete Gaming not just more time in terms of holding the point, but also more time to charge up more ultimates. Blank, even when they do get their key ultimates up, are only going to be coming in even.
Blank they need opportunities here. They need fight attempts, and right now they are losing those. They need fights where they're expected to win. EMP advantage is one of those fights. If they can get these ultimates off, they're expected to win. Can they fully cap? That's still a question. I'd like to suspect that maybe they could, but realistically, 1 tick, maybe 2 ticks, which means they actually need a second push attempt where they are ahead. How they get that in 1 minute 25 now, that's got to be the real question. They probably won't get it.
They do have that Death Blossom though. All they need is one good one to just landslide it and gonna go diving in with the rally EMP right on top of Cyclops Athlete Gaming plus the Death Blossom plus the Coalescence. This is what they need, but here's the rally from CAG as Sabagoth survived. He's got a Transcendence running. Kura is going to have to pop the sound barrier at the right moment. They've at least killed Depp in amongst all this, and those support ultimates from CAG are running out now as they finish off Ken Mahororo. Now it's just Samurai who needs a really money Earth Shatter. Amakin hacked out means his mobility is cut in half, and that money Earth Shatter came, but there was just no follow-up. Blank finally getting the establishment they need on the point. It is still tenuous though, and a few too many kills going the way of CAG could just end it, and that is a few too many there without even picking up that additional third. Blank are going to get pushed back off, having spent all that time building up to that fight.
Well, I'm going to say it was a delayed payment on the money shatter because they didn't get the kill straight away, but what they did get was a tempo shift. Blank were in control. Then they had their backs onto the floor. CAG regroup, they reallocate targets, collect the kills later on, and those are a little bit more deadly because Blank now don't have the time, they don't have the ultimates. Now's the Hail Mary time. 2 ticks is what they got to get, and it's going to be a tough one.
Less than 10 seconds. But then, I mean, look at this. This is quad tank. This is death ball. They're just going to barrel in. And
this
I mean,
goats.
the best. Yeah, it's got to be. It kind of is, yeah. And already
Samurai had another shatter.
Exactly, there's another shatter already, and they're dead to the self-destruct from Ken Mahororo that he wasn't able to use previously. Amakin is just keeping this point on lockdown. Can just, the moment this is Hulu out of the mech. Actually, he wasn't when he's bumped off to the side, but it doesn't matter. The point is, Blank are not going to crack this point any further. I still agree with the decision. They had no choice but to barrel for the point, but once again, Cyclops Athlete Gaming, they knew that that was going to be the case. They were ready for it, and they saw the opportunity to pop Ken Mahororo's self-destruct in the middle of Blank, Earth Shatter the other half of them. There was nothing they could do. The fight was over before it truly began.
So 2 things there for Blank. First of all, you have to consider that the A was a bit of a disaster. Did not cap until the overtime. That's 4 minutes that they did not get to utilize onto B. Again, I said this was a death sentence. It is a death sentence. 4 minutes. Most teams do not even get close to capping out B within just 4 minutes. Secondly, you look at Blank's approach there. They needed to get that EMP push in about 2 fights earlier than they did. I mentioned they needed fight attempts. That means they need opportunities to get fights where they have advantages. Look at the last fight that Blank went in there. 30 seconds remaining, absolutely fresh goats composition. No ultimates, no nothing. No way they were actually going to win that. Had they EMP'd that fight, had they got that fight where they committed 2 fights earlier, then you go on to that final game for Blank. They got about a minute left, maybe.
Right?
They build up those ultimates on the Goats comp. then they can cap out the remaining 2 ticks. That's how they could have won. It just wasn't the case. Such good, well-timed, and well-identified plays out of CAG. Just had Blank's number.
Now, the reality is, it's a death sentence so far in terms of Blank not being able to cap out B, but it's not a death sentence for the map, purely because full holding on B is not at all a far-fetched proposition. There is still very much a world in which Blank are able to hold this one out. So, the onus is now on CYCLOPS Gaming. They have set themselves up for the map win, but they still need to convert off it, and that is easier said than done.
If it's a draw, CAG win.
It is.
So, Blank actually kind of...
It can't be a draw, though. They would have to finish on 36.2%.
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, I'd assume that Blank had only got that 1/3, but they got a little bit more, 36.2.
You assumed wrong, buddy.
Means that... Oh, thank you for that. I
didn't
know until you pointed that out, so I'm glad you did that for me. Otherwise,
that's what I'm here for,
maybe 50 years down the line, I'd be thinking, you know, was I wrong or not?
Yeah, I'm looking out for you. Looking out for you, champ, so that when we are old and sore, you know that you were wrong just then.
Yeah, we look back to 2018 VODs. Anyway.
Raise up on Anakin, though. He's going to be just fine.
Oh, Claire, please.
Yeah, Claire, that is dicey, but Ken Mahororu, that is dicier as he loses the mech. That's really going to put a dampener on this setup from CAG, at least time-wise.
This is a very similar defense to what we saw. By the way, Arissa really making a big comeback, especially on maps like Anubis here, and you can sort of see the combos coming in here. CKM finding picks, getting close to that first Riptide that we've seen out of Anakin on CAG's defense, and this is where you get the ball rolling. Excuse the pun here, but when the tire goes off, you get the ultimates on the other members. You start winning these fights, you get the other ultimates on your team going. CAG just get further and further behind.
I mean, it ties a cylinder, but yeah, sure, it's rolls. I get you. Good pressure onto Depp as well. They nearly were able to close out in Huss, but not quite. Good catch on Trill, though, and the res on Samurai. This is now an opportunity for CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming.
Lost ball positioning.
Just as, the res on Trill, but Tongue goes down. Huss in trouble. CKM's going to have to get a lot of work done with this Riptide here and make sure he doesn't bring it. No,
okay.
Sniffed out as Huss dies to a headshot from the Buddy Blaster on Ken Mahororu. That is really rough. And Blanca just slowly, inexorably getting beaten back here.
Blank needed to hold the line there. As soon as Trill went down, the front line was gone. CAG just barreled past him, get onto the point, cap pressure, objective pressure, forces Blank, the defending team, to come to the point themselves, forces them directly into CAG, and now they're about to cap nigh unstoppable with 2 minutes remaining.
And this is just the sheer force of ultimates that CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming had at their disposal. After Blank had kind of dried themselves out, CAG, they had both the Transcendence and the Valkyrie. Ken Mahororu and Samurai spent so much time up in Blank's face. When they finally went down, boom, here's the supports who can just res them straight back in, keep them in the fight. They didn't even have to use their ultimates in that fight.
It gets worse. CAG now get the snowball potential here. Depp swaps hero, and I think that's actually a good idea. You want to be going in very quickly here. Full dive composition. Blank may not even have time to set up this defense properly. CKM has to land the best shield bash to really stop Anakin's blade.
The only thing that is going to make this a little tough for CAG is that Huss is on Farah. CAG have no good way of dealing with it, aside from Anakin basically Dragon Blading up into the air. If that's not enough, then Huss can just run rampant.
Here it comes.
Here it is, Trying to find, it's going to have to go to ground instead. There's the Transcendence from Tongue, doesn't save Kura. It's going to save some of the others, but that's already numbers in favor of CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming, and as Tongue is holding one person alive, another one goes down. That's Trill, who we're going to have to reset his mech here in a kind of desperation moment, getting no kills for it either, and not really splitting apart CAG all that much. They're still getting kills through. They've popped CKM. This is now dire straits for Blank. Sabagod getting kills even. He's going to be the one who finally deals with Huss, who, might I say, did have some impact, but not quite enough. Res onto Anakin. They've got all their members here. Ooh, not quite enough to save Claire, but still, the Transcendence is big. Blank have not got an answer. They are trickling on. Not enough for Huwu. CAG just beat the second place finisher of Season 1.
And this is it. Japan have come to take their place in the Pacific region. 3 tournaments, 4 teams, 1 year later, and a World Cup at that. We have seen Australia bested by Japan for the first time in professional history. That is a feat.
It feels like it's been a long time coming, but it feels like it has been coming. And now it has finally arrived. Here it is, everyone. This is the team we have been talking about all this time. Every single time we've said, yeah, Liverland are decent, but they're still not the best team Japan can field, you know? It's always been, what will they look like when they're able to get that team into the Pacific Region Premier Tournament? This is what it looks like. It looks like beating one of the most consistent teams, indeed the most consistent team at present of said region. That is one way to make an impression. That is one way to finally claim what you could almost feel has been rightfully yours. They do still have that one map to go, though. This could still be a 4-0, which would be even more impressive, but they have secured the win.
And I think if you look at this matchup, right, first of all, you expect Blank, the favorites here, not just in this matchup, but also in the tournament in general, favorites to come out on top here. Maybe a 3-1, you give CAG the benefit of the doubt. If you go into the territory of, okay, CAG, they could win. It's possible they could. What does that look like? Maybe a 3-2. I said 3-2 at the start, so I was like, maybe I think CAG have the potential, but Blank are going to fight back really hard. And CAG are going to have to push. In no mind would you say CAG 4-0. That's it doesn't seem possible, but we are nearly there. It seems like it could be now possible.
I mean, the defense, I think, is one of the most crucial components of that, actually. The defense has been so hard to crack at so many opportunities. And I think it is because of the proactivity, the certain brand, if you will, of proactivity that CAG consistently demonstrate on the defense. They see what the attackers are going for, and they just always seem to be able to find the exact right moment to cause maximum disruption. And they just take that and run with it. I'm really enjoying watching this team right now. And this is only their first match as well. I do want to speak to the other side of this, though. Look, the game has been won by CAG. It's been lost by Blank. 3-1, 4-0, whatever it ends up being. Blank will recover. They are going to turn out okay. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe we will still see them in playoffs almost no matter what happens. They've still got some tough matches ahead of them. You mentioned Hong Kong Attitude. They've got 4 weeks to get ready for that one, plus all the other stuff in between, naturally. They're still going to be fine. They'll still make playoffs. The question is, when they get there, will they be good enough to win this match that they've just lost?
And Route 66 now will be map number 4 to finish things out for this second match. Even if this was a 4-0, I think this has been a fantastic series to watch. It's been a fantastic 4 maps, and we haven't even seen the 4th map here. I want to see what Blank are going to do next. I want to see what they can bring onto Route 66, because I mean, realistically, I think they need to come out with a map winning. I think they shouldn't. Obviously, you don't want to be going away 0-4, but for Blank, you got to make a statement. You're the second place team from last season. You can't go out 0-4 on day 1.
That would be rough. That would be rough for Blank, but one hell of a statement for CAG. Let's not mince words with that, right? It would be an incredible way to kick things off. This has already been an incredible way to kick things off. The win notwithstanding, just the sheer caliber of play on display here from CAG. Like I said, this is no fluke, this is no accident. You can call Blank a slow starter as much as you like, but the fact remains, CAG have just played an incredibly good game so far, and that's why they have the 3-0 lead currently.
Well, it's not a warm-up, right? This is not the test run. This is the real deal right now. Blank needed to bring their A game. Currently, not so much, but it does still feel like a bit of an endurance race. You mentioned it's not all over for Blank. I think I tend to agree with that one. It feels like a marathon, maybe like a half marathon with hurdles dropped in there. So
just to spice things up.
Yeah, just why not? Yeah. Some hurdles. It seems like Blank have tripped over the first hurdle, but it doesn't mean they won't finish the race, right? So let's see how they go now. Map number 4. Keep it together.
Yeah, you're quite right. Not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Half marathon.
Yeah, it's a half marathon. It's not quite, like OWC Season 1, that was a marathon.
That's like a double marathon. You do a double marathon, like you finish a marathon and just do another one straight away. That's 4 round robins.
Good 21 kilometers. I don't know how marathon is in miles. I don't understand your American units, but it's 42 for us and then 21 for a half marathon.
It's going to be Huss versus Depp once again. You gotta love it.
I love it, I do.
Or you hate to see it, whichever one it is.
Either you love it, you hate it, or you're indifferent to it. But anyway, it's what we've got. I think I covered all my bases there. Huwu and Trill just going in for the dive. They want to just try and dislodge Cyclops Athlete Gaming here. Even if not get any kills, they want to at least make space for the payload. And so far, they've been able to do that. Eventually, CAG gonna have to go to ground.
Oh, that's pressure.
Nice wraparound from CKM. That's a good feeling for him, and now just kind of ducking and diving, avoiding Shabagod's orbs as the headshot gets collected. Huss even catching Bep, who got rezzed in there, now closing out Claire. This is the opener that Blank very much needed, a very effective dive there.
You can see the dismantling of CAG there as well, where they were kind of waiting on the roof, Blank are flanking around the sides. Their target has been Dep. They got to take him down because he's been so effective. The Yom 1 of Cyclops Athlete Gaming at this rate, or maybe Yom 1's the Dep of his
yeah.
Same rate though, CKM immediately goes for Dep. Huston comes in with the alley-oop after the res comes in. The res will come in for Dep because he's their key player. Hus collects a headshot straight away.
I do genuinely believe, though, that Cyclops Athlete Gaming are more than just Dep. So, kill the Dep has worked for this first push. Now, let's see how Cyclops Athlete Gaming responds.
There's more depth in this team.
Hey, yo. Let's see how they respond now that Blank have kind of learned a couple of their tricks. Killing Anakin's a good way to start, but the trades are there. Savagod even gets a headshot on CKM. That's a little,
I think the pulse bomb might have disappeared as CKM died. I think that's the thing, right?
I think it did. Yeah.
I don't know. Someone correct me on that. Anyway.
And
things happen.
Yeah, things are continuing to happen. Blank are now starting to swing the fight back around in their favor after not having a great start. But that is the nature of Blank, right? The tank line is still incredibly strong. That is Trill and Huwu really kind of playing at their finest there.
The momentum is so good for Blank right now. By the way, Dep not running a Widowmaker on point B is definitely a bit of a question mark. This is where you'd expect Dep to really come online. By the way, Huss now unopposed. You can start to feel that he's having a much better game himself, because part of the reason Huss was underperforming a Widow was because Dep was constantly pressuring him with his own Widow. Now that Huss is free, he's doing work.
It almost feels like a bit of a trap, doesn't it? You know, Dep's going, I don't want to get constantly flanked by CKM on the Tracer. I'll play a Tracer of my own, but doesn't quite work that way. And like you said, you can now really feel the impact of Huss. That's a res used up on Savagod. Worthwhile, don't get me wrong, he's got that Transcendence, but they still need to actually use it. Here it finally comes out now. Blank threatening the cap. No one did just yet, and ultimates of their own at their disposal. Claire now having to use the Valkyrie as the Transcendence runs out. They finally pick off Savagod as that's no longer available. And now suddenly Claire's going, who will I res? Who can I even res? Having to go full Battle Mercy just to get some kills, some legs in the fight. And they're still essentially playing recovery here.
Very respectable Battle Mercy player. I do want to highlight the card positioning. This is now CAG finally getting some sort of defense in here. And even while that's happening, they're kind of trying to put out this fire. And Blank are still here. They have not left the card. They are still collecting kills. And CAG, they're still in recovery mode.
Blank never let the pressure off. They just sort of held back a moment, kept the pressure out there while waiting for their respawners. Now that they're in, look at this. This is just a wash. Yeah, a cap, a gong. It's the whole 9 yards.
Blank wish this was a best of 7 right now, because maybe the comeback begins right now. Maybe map 4 is where Blank really turn on the heat. Dep now going back to the Widowmaker, wants to challenge Huss directly. To be quite honest though, maybe this is the kind of point where both Widowmakers don't actually want to be sniping here. Point C of Route 66 kind of favors other picks, but I digress.
I like that you say it the proper way, because Americans make it sound like they die grass.
Coup de grace.
Coup de grace.
But I coup de grace.
I digress. Anyway. I mean, we're on I was just about to make a stupid joke about Route 66. CKM, though, he's the real one getting the last laugh there. Now collecting Claire as well. Another kill into the head to adorn his wall. Blank just keeping the momentum going at this point. CKM
he's having a game.
Circles around everyone. Now he's looking to get the wraparound on Ken Mohororo. Wouldn't be surprised if there we go. There it comes up on the kill feed. CKM kills Ken Mohororo. No one left here really for Cyclops Athlete Gaming to contest. Finally getting Dep back on the Widowmaker, but Huss has got all the sightlines.
By the way, CKM just used a pulse bomb to get a double kill. Gets another pulse bomb already waiting. Cyclops Athlete Gaming right now. What is going on? The tables have turned so rapidly. I feel like we're watching a totally different match.
Yeah. 2 times in a row now CKM has landed.
Who needs
the mark. Yeah, I mean, eat you up who? I mean, it's taking 2 whole players to do his one job. Like, they've got the Widowmaker and then they've got the Tracer. But you don't feel his loss at all here. This is the Blank we were expecting from the get-go. I don't know where it was in those first 3 games, but it's here now and it's absolutely steamrolling. It is looking terrifying, but also, where is the CAG we saw in those first 3 games? This is Blank just firing on all cylinders and then some.
I mean, they're revving up to the red line right now. Anakin's trying his best. Huss is just not going to be opposed at all. Yep, see you later, Anakin. That's not going to be the one.
There it is. There's the Earth Shatter from Samurai. Surely if they can turn it around anywhere, it's off the back of another money Earth Shatter. But no pulse bomb stuck. Samurai's down. 3 for 3 now. CKM on the pulse bomb.
Has he died?
Not once. Not once. Just running circles around CAG. CKM, a masterclass of Tracer play.
Adept does not know what he wants to play. He's like, do I go on the Widow and then try and challenge Huss? And it's like, well, no, I'm going to kill by CKM, so I'm going to go on the Tracer. No, I'm dying to Huss. You can't
win.
We found the solution. Have Blank found the solution. All they needed the whole time was a CKM Tracer and a Huss. To be fair, they did run this, and we saw CKM Tracer. We're like, this is a weird pick. He doesn't normally play this, and then they lost anyway. But right now, Route 66. What just happened? This is not the same match that we just saw.
Yeah, this is something else. I mean, it's good and it's bad, right? It's bad in that, like, it leaves me with very little.
Could Blank do this the whole time? Yeah. Where was this on maps 1 to 3?
It leaves me with very little, like, insightful things to say about this, because all it really gives us is questions. Like you said, could they have been doing this the whole time? If so, why weren't they? Where was this? What was going wrong? Second of all, hey, now that they are doing it, like, how consistent is this? Is this a flash in the pan? Also, can CAG respond? All this has done is raised questions. And it's such a tease, right? Because this is the last map of this series. Even if Blank turn it back around,
it's just like Westworld Season 2 ending. I don't know what's happening.
We don't get to, we don't get to see if CAG can really respond to this until these teams maybe nebulously meet somewhere in a playoff somewhere down the line. And that's not even a short thing. So all we're going to get from this point on is comparative metrics. They're going to leave us wanting more, and maybe that's what it is. Blank are just playing the long game.
Well, let's see if Blank can continue this, because it's about consistency, right? And so far, CAG, in terms of consistency, in this match over 3 maps before this, have looked much better than Blank. So Blank need to continue this, translate it over onto their defense. We'll see how far they can get with this one. CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming, not going to be deterred just yet. They are 3-0, want to make it a 4-0.
I'm liking this. I'm liking the hog. I'm liking the whole of it. I think it's a bit brazen a little to do this without an Orisa, without a good way to pull.
Well, the Orisa's on the other side.
Yeah,
the hog isn't.
It's. I mean, they don't have a good way of displacing these Blank members for Anakin to make the most of it. Wow, Huss able to thread the needle through all of those shields to get a shot. Does get raised back in, but my point is CAG having a hard time dislodging this high ground Blank, but just sniper v sniper. Huss gets raised back in. They're just getting payload movement, though. At some point, Blank are going to have to come down and take the fight to the cart.
Well, Anakin's on the flank as well. Look at him. He's kind of forcing Trill and the rest of the Blank squad to come down, lose their high ground positioning. This is the kind of time where if CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming had more members, maybe they take the roof of Big Earls. But currently, because they've lost too many, they don't have a res, they just have to back off. But the work, the groundwork, and the foundations have been set. The cart is more than halfway through, 3/4 of the way through A. And flank should be opening up now.
I mean, that was a little bit rough for CAG. Everything was going right. They'd sort of put Blank in the situation where they suddenly had to go into the uncomfortable position, give up the high ground, go to ground. And then, I mean, they just ended up winning the fight. CAG didn't actually use what they had set up there, which was a little unfortunate to see. Now in that same situation, this is a great angle for CKM.
Shatter.
Might not even need it. Yeah, Shatter though, CKM on his back for a moment, back up. Might not need that Dragon Strike, as they're still getting these kills through on the tanks. And it seems that Samurai has lost a bit of his Earth Shatter mojo here. Even when they're connecting them, they're not actually ones that they can follow up on.
And I think that one was a little bit easier to read. Also note you're going up against an Orisa who can herself fortify against the Shatter. You're also considering right now that it was basically Samurai himself walking past Trill's shield, attempting to Shatter, couldn't get enough of his own members to then follow up on it, and now CAG further and further behind Blank, sitting on 5 ultimates, looking pretty.
That's a spicy angle, but Tung's got a good read on it. They're going to be just fine. Nice hook. CKM is going to be fine. Depp going down as well. Blank have yet to be dislodged from this high ground. Compare and contrast, by this point, Blank had absolutely stormed point A, long since, in fact. Dragon Strike right down the middle as well is going to leave Ken Mohororo the casualty. Kuro, though, does get picked. That means no Valkyrie and no Res. This is the golden opportunity that CAG have needed. Whole Hog out to dislodge Huwu from the payload. He is going to self-destruct, but he will not be able to remech. Now Trill getting dropped down as well. This is the fight that CAG have been looking for.
And this feels like a strange fight for Blank to lose, right? Because remind yourselves right now that Blank had
slow and insidious killer.
That Blank had 5 ultimates going into that defense, right? And they still continuously lost. Remember, CAG were at a very big disadvantage. Blank double support ultimates. Kura dies, doesn't get to use a Valkyrie. Transcendence does come in, doesn't really matter. CYCLOPS, Athlete Gaming find the kills regardless. Blank, it was a very strange fight to lose. They had much more disadvantaged fights where they didn't quite have the ults that they could have lost, and they didn't.
Ooh, that's a nice hook onto Trill, just barely getting the angles in there. That was like a pixel perfect, so this is the kind of thing you see in a speed run, you know? If I aim my hook right at this wall, I'll catch a Trill. And then everyone applauds as they do this pixel perfect trick. I've been watching GD.
Oh, that's an applause.
Recently. Yeah, speaking of great hooks, catching Husk, this is the momentum that CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming really need here. Rez does come in on Husk, but they're lacking tongue. Kura is having to work double shift here with this Valkyrie, and even so, it's not enough. Blank are just getting picked off one by one.
And now you're starting to see the ultimates coming in online for CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming. Note that those 5 ultimates I was talking about for Blank side, 4 of them actually got used while Blank were losing. So CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming managed to bank up. Kura Valks, but it's not quite enough. CAG had the Shatter. They have ults, other ults to play with now as well. Coming up is, you know, Depp's ultimate. Sabagod as well. Still have a Grav. It's not looking pretty for Blank. I think the tables are finally really looking good.
Yeah, Trill straight in there. I mean, he knows he's just a sacrificial lamb, gonna go down. Great hook onto CKM, reading that he was likely to come from the opposite side there to maybe get a Dragon Strike if he could charge it up. Husk did at least get one back, but CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming, they read the situation. They knew what was coming and they knew what they could do about it, and then they just did it. Again, it's this execution, it's this reading of the game that is so top-notch here.
Now we're at a stage where Blank are making a big shifts in terms of compositions here, resetting ultimates. Husk's going to be going onto the Zarya now, looking for combos with CKM. It's going to be CAG maintaining double support going into another Shatter. If Samurai can really connect this one well, farm some ultimates off the 3 big tanks on Blank side, this could be the roll-on through. Momentum is how CAG can get.
Anakin is really in the thick of things here, but he's getting topped off now thanks to a Transcendence, and by the time that's run out, he wanted that take a breather back and having lost CKM. Yes, nice hook. Not going to get anything for it, but like I said, having lost CKM, Blank aren't really able to do anything here. They just had to weather the storm. Now that they've got CKM back, they can start raining the damage back on. Huss has got the charge to do so as well. That means they're going to be able to start getting through these big health bars of CAG. Even with the res there on Samurai, Blank are holding the line here for the time being. That's a $1 million hook. Still no conversion, but Blank is starting to get beaten back now.
Now there's the conversion coming on through finally. A CYCLOPS Athlete Gaming. Claire just has to rejoin this, give some much needed sustain to the CAG side, get themselves some reses in there. CKM down again. Blank need ultimates online. Huss is close, CKM is close. Tongue goes on to a new hero, but Blank are running out of time, running out of space.
Oh, what a grab as well, just off the corner.
No kills.
Points. Only getting Huss, but Huss is enough. CKM now as well for money points. Oh! Huwu! You're back! Welcome to Season 2, Huwu! That's classic right there. A little over a minute and a half left as Blank have finally found their legs once again to stabilize, and hey, this is how defenses are made.
Well, that's the kind of money play that we see from the combination here. Trill actually landed the Shadow first. Everyone was on their bank. Then the self-destruct connected on 2-3, and this is after CAG started to invest ultimates into the fight. They really wanted to win, but Blank wanted to win just that much more.
And now Blank have the opportunity to finally stabilize. Charged up or no, they've got this grab tire combo. There goes the grab. Here comes the tire. Even if it's a little late to the party, Sabagod was actually able to pop out a Transcendence. They burned through 2 of Blank's ultimates for that, so now the tide swings back the way of CAG. Samurai D, ultimate down, getting some Blank members on their backs, and they're starting to get the clean up. Blank do have the respawn advantage. Huwu, you're going to need another miracle here, buddy. He's thrown it out, doesn't quite get it this time around. Also not going to be able to remech. CKM dropped. clutch coalescence, or indeed panic coalescence, as all the wacky picks come out from Blank. Huss does get one, needs to go on a real hot streak though, not gonna happen. Dunked down by Anakin now, as they are in full panic mode, grabbed up on the point, and the last few kills to get cleaned up here. CYCLOPS Atlas Gaming, with only 20 seconds left, they have got it over the line. They do buy themselves the time bank. They have not lost Route 66 yet.
You did start to feel like towards the end of B, and certainly most of the way during C as well, despite that triple kill coming out of who, most of the momentum, most of, in terms of who was leading the game, I mean, it was CAG's game to play at that point. It did feel like Blank were kind of on the back foot the entire time, and you start to really see it towards the end of that C push. Carroll was making a lot of distance. By the time that Huru got that triple kill, the Carroll was nearly there.
Yeah.
A little bit of footage of that final moments here as well. Here comes the shadow from
this is
Trill.
the self-destruct. Look, yeah, you're right. Having them on their backs there and just placing that self-destruct so beautifully, like expensive china on the mantelpiece.
And by the way, Anakin did his part there. He tried to push Trill away. Doesn't matter though. Trill manages to connect with the ground. If there was a case where maybe Anakin has the whole hog ready and pushes Trill away a little bit earlier, the shadow entirely misses. Everyone gets to run away from the self-destruct. We have an earlier cap with a point as CAG. Still managed to cap on there. They had a lot of momentum towards the final hour there. Kura towards the end landed with the sound barrier that only hit 2 people, or maybe 3 at best. So Blank kind of got very desperate, couldn't quite find the kills. Now we're in time back.
We are in time bank. It's only a minute though here for CAG to break this first point, and it took them
that hurts. Sabagod's been on the receiving end of a lot of that.
It took them a long time to cap that first point the first time around in the attack, so CAG really had to pick up the pace here if they want to set a competitive time bank. Because when you compare to how quickly Blank broke that same point, CAG have to really set a mark.
Well, they're about 1 minute 47 behind, so they have to get themselves at least that far ahead to be competitive with Blank. A good win here will be most of the way through onto A, if not capping it out fully. Oh, that has to be such a game changer.
Oh, Def, look at you go! Wow, now Trill is at threat of
Blank are retreating, Blank out of here.
They know that this is done for. They're not going to play stupid. They know that by the time the point gets capped, it's an overtime. They only have to win one more fight. They're happy to let this happen.
Well, they're not going to let the cap happen. They have to regroup, wait for the support to come back, wait for us to come back, then approach S6, but they do not have positioning. CAG, if they lock down these doors, they stop Blank from pushing in, they can still make this happen. It could still be a cap.
That is such a huge catch. They do trade with Huwoo's mech. CKM in trouble. He might go down. No, Tongue in with the rescue. CKM just barely alive, plus a headshot. Huss gets one back on depth. Dragon Strike out, and a moment ago the game was on a knife's edge, but there was that overtime. Blank in the nick of time. So clutch there. All the right kills at all the right moments, and now the stage is set for them to finish this time bank in style and at least take one map back off CAG.
They have to still get past that defense though, and they can't have a lot of distance. This would be a much more winnable situation for Blank if that cart was in that first line. This is sort of see on your right side here. If it was in that first sort of section before that hard hairpin corner, this would be in a much better position for Blank. But because Depp got that 2 headshots in a row, Huss waited for Kura to go for the res, gets him mid-air, just picks him out from the sky. They earn themselves a lot of distance despite not capping. It's just about as good as a cap, and for 1 minute's worth of pushing, I think you'll take this. I think this is good for 1 minute.
That is one of those unfortunate situations, though, for CAG, where a fight win there would have been the beginning of a ton of momentum, because if you win right at that moment, Blank can't really recover until pretty much the end of B. You buy yourself a lot of cart distance. That's why it was so crucial for Blank to win that one. And like I said, I mean, there were practically no ultimates coming into the top of that fight. That was a very even fight on paper. CAG had all the positioning, but it was one of those real knife-edge fights. Whoever wins it sets themselves up to win the time bank. Because Blank won it, they are now in a very favorable situation.
And I don't think any team's really expected to get a first cap on 1 minute. Like, you're not meant to get that cap. You're not supposed to go on to B. If that happens, you are playing exceptionally well while the other team is making a lot of mistakes. So for CAG, this is already a pretty decent win. Now they just got to hold it for Blank. They can get this as well. I think this is still anyone's game.
That was rough for Huss. He was fishing for an aerial, landed back on top of the train carriage rather than on the ground behind it. That slight miscalculation left him exposed for long enough for Depp to get a second shot. But here's Blank setting up with that wraparound. Same thing as last time. They're looking to get CKM in behind CAG to take out the playmakers. This time, though, CAG are looking a lot more ready for it.
Well, I mean, they're expecting it, right? Huss is already low. CKM onto the back line, but can he get himself a kill? That's the big question here. Who about to be demec'd?
That's a very big opener and a headshot onto Huss. The card's been moving though. They've finally got the extra kill, finally converted onto Huwu. Despite the res coming through, these members of Blank are low. CAG, they should be pressing this. They're just kind of drawing back for a moment. They have got some kills through, but they are giving Blank a lot of time to potentially recover. That is risky.
Not anymore, though. They're picking up more kills. Kura dying here. Who are getting demec? Who's now have to reset himself. 1 minute 30. I mean, at the 1 minute mark, that's when Blank have used up the entirety of that 147 advantage that they had over CAG. Once we get there, it's now danger zone because teams, again, are not meant to fully cap within 1 minute, which means for Blank, if they can't make it happen, I mean, it's by this kind of time, that could be it for Blank. 1 minute is just too little.
Yeah, you want to see CKM land true on those pulse bombs once again. But again, they'll be ready for it. Here's a Riptide to try and throw a spanner in the works of whatever Blank are cooking up. Wrap it around the backside.
Yeah, that hurts.
Both the supports hurts a lot. It's a lot of time wasted. And by the way, while that was still running out there, you saw Depp collect a couple of kills. Anakin also closes out on CKM on the back line. Blank are just losing time, indeed hemorrhaging time at this point.
You're starting to see now 45 seconds remaining. You can say, well, the cart has good distance for 15 seconds worth of push. That's absolutely correct, but can they win? We're looking at a lot of ultimates coming online for CAG. Now, Blank, fresh swap for Huss onto a Genji. Unlikely to build a blade within 30 seconds here. You're going to be relying on tanks. You're going to be relying on CKM to find some of the magic he had before.
And he's already low on CKM, trying to find that wraparound. Huss knows when to pick a fight, when to back away from one. But CAG do still need to address the cart. They can't just let it go on through. Pulse bomb out to the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they do at least catch clear. Ken Mahororo wearing the Huwu trousers, though. Now Huwu's got to answer back in kind. And Snappy, what? He just did it. Huss, though, is going to go down. I still don't know if they've really got the numbers here. There is Huwu. Trill is booking it back towards the point. They've got Ken Mahororo out of the mech. Tongue on the point with a Transcendence as well as they try and speed in.
Trill's on Soldier.
Playing taxi service, yeah. Trying to sprint with that shift click as they're getting the kills. They're collecting a few. Claire is down, but Anakin's not done. They're trying to trade a few back. Res on Samurai to try and anger the team down as they've got Huwu. They're looking to close out on Trill by the skin of their teeth, by the seat of their pants, and they're still not done. Both teams back and forth. 12 health on Anakin, trying to get rid of CKM, but it's us doing the work, and they have done it just barely. It is a win in the face of defeat, but it is a win nonetheless. I would have never expected it to be that close with how good their original attack was, but at the same time, with how well the entirety of the first 3 maps went for CAG, I am not at all surprised that it was tough for Blank to get that one over the line, but they did.
It's such an important win for Blank as well on that final map. They needed to find map number 4. They could not let this one go 0-4. That would be far too devastating for the returning runner-ups from Season 1, right? I mean, that is just devastating, but 3-1 going to be the final score here. CAG still take the victory. They still lock that one away. Yeah. Blank still going to need to recover from the wound of losing their opening match. They have not, I don't believe they've ever lost an opening match despite coming close. No. This time it actually happened, but that last map proves they're not out of the race, and I think that's what's important.
Bit of a different tune, yeah, already for Season 2 of Contenders Pacific. So I think that's an important win, like you said, for Blank right at the end here. It proves that they are still capable of winning maps against teams like this, and it is the teams like this that they have to beat if they ever want to become the Crown's kings rather than the Crownless kings of the region. So I feel like what Blank really just got is a taste of the competition ahead. Compare that to Season 1. They didn't really get a taste of the true competition until the grand final itself. They were on the opposite side of the tables to Detonator Korea, then the opposite side of the brackets the whole way through. This is a very different story. This time Blank start off fully aware of what they have to overcome if they want to truly win this one, and it is a lot.
And 2/3 now of the matches of day one have been done and dusted, and they've both been pretty good. That last one especially was absolutely damn fine. But coming up next, Incipients from Singapore take on Hong Kong Attitude returning playoffs team from Hong Kong. Contenders Pacific happens again right after this.